Donald Trump's allies and his campaign surrogates have been out there all week telling us that because of the events from this past Saturday, we can't anymore talk about all of the horrible things that Donald Trump has done. And of course, we can't talk about all the horrible things that he wants to do. But even though the left is not allowed to talk bad about Trump, people on the right are still allowed to talk about Biden. And if you go after Trump right now, they will attack you saying that you're being divisive, even though they're the ones still being divisive by literally blaming Biden for the actions of the 21-year-old Republican shooter. Let me read you this from Rolling Stone because I think this is just an amazingly powerful article that they put out this week. Since the deadly shooting at a Pennsylvania rally Saturday, prominent conservatives have been working to blame the incident on Trump's enemies for labeling him a fascist and for fanning heated rhetoric that, in their telling, caused the would-be assassin to shoot at the former and perhaps future American president. When the message goes out constantly that the election of Donald Trump would be a threat to democracy and that the republic would end, it heats up the environment, House Speaker Mike Johnson said Sunday, adding, quote, "It's simply not true. Everyone needs to turn down the rhetoric." Top Trump ally Senator Lindsey Graham said Sunday he had been, quote, "worried about this for a very, very long time," adding, quote, "You know, if he wins, democracy is not going to end. He's not a fascist. He represents a point of view that millions share. That rhetoric is way too hot." The messages are all part of a deliberate strategy, Rolling Stone writes. Within the first 3 hours following the failed assassination of the presumptive 2024 GOP presidential nominee, 3 sources close to Trump were already feverishly detailing to Rolling Stone how Republicans could use the shooting to their political advantage, whether for potentially mammoth fundraising, propaganda about Trump being tough and a fighter, or attacks on Democrats as belonging to the actually violent party every time they bring up things like the deadly January 6th Capitol riot that Trump instigated. Such plans were hatched hours before it became public that the shooter was a registered Republican. His motive has continued to elude law enforcement and even his own neighbors. The lack of clarity has done little to deter MAGA and conservative leaders from scapegoating their preferred enemies list. The attempt on Trump's life does nothing to change the reality that he is, in fact, running on an openly authoritarian platform. Now, I know that was a large quote. I typically don't like to read that much, but I don't have much to add to that. They're right. Donald Trump can have our sympathy if you so choose to issue your sympathy. If you don't, then say nothing. I'm still of that opinion. However, his past and potentially future sins are not forgiven. Like, that dynamic has not changed. The fact that Donald Trump has openly said on multiple occasions, "I will be a dictator on day one," that hasn't disappeared. Him instigating the Capitol riot, that didn't change because of what happened on Saturday. Project 2025 didn't shred all their documents and start singing Kumbaya after Saturday. They're pushing forward with their plans for an authoritarian regime here in the United States, and by God, we're still going to talk about it because that is a threat to this country. It's not inflammatory rhetoric to tell people the truth. But these Republicans think it is. They're the ones who are out there now calling for civil war. They're the ones who are out there calling for more violence. It's on message boards. It's on the Donald message board. It's on Facebook. It's on Twitter. It's all over the place. They are calling for violence. The left, their only crime is reminding people of what Donald Trump has done and what he's promising to do in a second term. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.